Grab the duct tape and mentally prepare yourself for yet another mind-expanding knowledge bomb from America's #1 business coach, Clay Clark.
That's it. Bombs away.
Oh, Thrive Nation, Hood Nation, welcome back to the conversation. That man across from me is the man with he's the man with a plan. He's the accountant that many people choose to use. He has thousands of clients all over this country. His name is Paul Hood. Paul Hood, how are you doing, sir?
I am amazing, Clay. You know how amazing I am? I'm almost as amazing as you are.
Really?
Yes, almost. Close.
Wow.
It's a great day. I'm excited. You know, Clay, I'm excited.
I'm offended by how good you're doing. I was trying to be the only one doing well.
I got to keep up. I'm skiing off of your wake.
Okay.
You know, I'm excited, Clay, because, you know, I get to do every day at work, I get to help other people achieve the American dream. I get to help them achieve their goals and their results. And, you know, as opposed to most accountants, they're just kind of doing tax returns and bookkeeping and accounting and payroll. I get to help people, Clay. It's fun. I love it.
I hate to one-up you, but I'm going to have to one-up you. This just in. Jason, you know this. You know me. You know me pretty well. Andrew, you know me. Yeah. You know, I have very noble goals, huge goals. I mean, my goals, they're so altruistic. I mean, since Z and I have been able to build the 13 multi-million-dollar companies, I don't want to waste my time, Andrew. I have worked hard to create time freedom and financial freedom, so I was able to accomplish one of my goals yesterday. Uh-oh. And I will explain to you, Paul, what I did. While you're out there helping people, I wanted to one-up you, and this is what I did. And I was giving back. This was a give back. So my step one there, I went into Walmart there. Jason, you know the Walmart, the super center?
Yeah.
Not one of those small Walmarts. No. A super Walmart. I went in there, and I realized they didn't have what I wanted.
Oh.
So I went into a super Target. Oh, right there, the one off Memorial. I go in there like it's 111th Memorial, I think it is. I go in there, and I found a huge box fan. You know, the ones you can get for like $25?
Oh, yeah.
But you can get the premium one for $45. Ooh. So I upgraded. Okay, I upgraded. Now, again, one could argue this may kill your cash flow if you do this too much. But I bought a box fan, which, Paul, later you can explain to me maybe it's not an asset. But I bought this box fan. And I spent I really optimized my time. I have time freedom now, Andrew. You know this. Time freedom, financial freedom. I can do whatever I want. Yep. And so I decided to give back to the community, and I will give back to the listeners this audio clip. This is me yesterday. This is what I did for 3 hours in a row. This is me. I'll just give you about a 10-second clip of what I did all of yesterday.
La, 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 Luke, I am your father.
And I think the listeners can appreciate the way I've been able to give back there, Paul. So, again, I hate to one-up you. While you're helping people with their accounting and their practical needs, I'm doing that.
Yeah, but Clay, guess what? You were making money when you were doing that,
okay.
right?
Right, because the business
systems and processes, and you measure, and so you can speak strange words into a fan and make
it's an
money.
Asset, yep.
I was trying to imitate Darth Vader. Didn't turn out very well. But okay, now I want to talk about the definition of cash flow. As we're talking about avoiding cash flow killers, it's probably wise to understand what it means. So here's the definition of cash flow. Cash flow is the net amount of cash and cash equivalents moving into and out of a business. Positive cash flow indicates that a company's liquid assets are increasing, enabling it to settle debts, reinvest in its business, return money to shareholders, pay expenses, and provide a buffer against future financial challenges. Negative cash flow indicates that a company's liquid assets are decreasing. Net cash flow is distinguished from net income, which includes accounts receivable and other items for which payment has not actually been received. Cash flow is used to assess the quality of a company's income, that is, how liquid it is, which can indicate whether a company is positioned to remain solvent. The point is, there's money that comes in, there's money that comes out. It's how much is left after the in and the out.
That's right.
That's cash flow.
That is, Clay. Most people, nowadays, they'll use QuickBooks or something and it prints off and, hey, we made money. But there's no cash. There's no money. There are so many clients that come in and say, I don't understand. It says we made money, but there's no money. And, they're just working hard. But what's happening is they're paying debt. They're taking money out personally. And so you have to, cash flow is what's important. We have to, the first thing we do for clients is to sit down and let's figure out where the money's going, Clay.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to identify the 6 cash flow killers that you've written about in your book, A Look Under the Hood. On page 85, you can buy the book on Amazon. It's A Look Under the Hood with Paul Hood and Clay Clark. We want to make it fair and balanced. You have an intelligent person in Paul Hood, and you have a guy who some could argue is mildly retarded in me. So we balance it out. There's a smart guy. There's a dumb guy. The thing is, I took algebra 3 times, okay? I took algebra 3 times. Took my ACT 3 times. A lot of people think accounting's not possible, but it is. But you got to have a guy like Paul Hood, CPA, to bring the knowledge, the wisdom, and then you got to have kind of the village idiot to balance it out. So here we go. These are the 6 cash flow killers, and I'm going to go to Jason first, then to you, Paul, second. So here we go.
Right.
Cash flow killer number 1: failing to collect from customers. Now, Jason, as you manage the Elephant in the Room Men's Grooming Lounge, have you ever had a customer check out and not have the money to pay for their haircut?
Yes.
As a general rule, do they come back and settle their debts at a later date?
No.
Right. So this is the phenomenon. I'll call this the TU student because it is the Tulsa University student who does this most often, or the Oral Roberts University student, or the students in general. They'll come in there for their second haircut. They've already been in before. The first haircut's $1. Right. And then they say, oh, I forgot my wallet. I don't know where it is. Have you seen that move?
Yep.
And then you say what to them?
It's like, well, as a gesture of goodwill, I will personally bless you with a haircut today, but in the future, got to bring back that cashy cash.
And the people who say, I'll come back, they don't do it.
Nope.
Can you repossess? Can you put the hair back on?
Just try to slap some glue on it.
Yes, slap some glue on them. Staple or something.
Yeah. And I'll say this, though. This is a thing where I see people that take this to the next level, though. Now they're doing landscaping, Paul. I had a guy that I was working with, this is about 4 years ago, huge landscaper. And what he does is he'll go out there and lay all the sod, have it immaculately done, and then give you an invoice and give you, the customer, 30 days to pay for it. And we found out that as his company was growing, he was getting further and further behind because he owed money to the sod company. Remember, he doesn't own his own sod. He just lays the sod. So now he owns money, so much money he owes to the sod company, they will no longer let him buy any more sod because he hasn't paid them. So then the next customer that actually does pay him, he takes the money from them and uses it to settle his debts with the sod company, and now he doesn't have any money to buy new sod, and the game then begins. Talk to me about the dangers, Paul, of invoicing your customers and failing to collect.
Well, Clay, in that sod example, that his QuickBooks would show that he was making money, but there's no money hitting the bank. If you can't, cash is king. It doesn't matter how much business you do. If you're not collecting, you can't pay your bills. And so you've got to figure out, one of the things we do at Hood CPAs is help our clients figure out how to get paid up front or get a portion up front, or to make sure that when they walk out the door and the job is finished, they're just getting, maybe they've already received 90% of the income. But the funny or sad part of it is a lot of them, they just don't think about it. They're not tracking it. They don't know who owes them money.
Excuse me, Paul, I'd like to tell a story real quick, just kind of a quick little story. There was once a man, he was in the sod business, and what he did is he would lay the most beautiful sod, and he would put the sod, little sod over there, little sod. He always had a rule. He always had a rule. He always said, green side up. Green side up was his rule, and he would go all around, and he would lay the sod, and it was bloody awesome. And then one day he realized he's been invoicing everyone, and he hasn't collected any money. And now that man lives in a van down by the river. That's what happens.
Yeah,
right. It's not good.
He used to be from Jinx, and now he's from Ireland. I don't know what.
Don't know, Paul. Don't know. Sometimes I change accents midway through. I don't even know. All right. So now we move on to step number 2. This is the cash flow killer number 2. This is the step you do not want to take. This step. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't fail to fire poor performing employees. That was easy for me to say. Let me try it again. Don't fail to fire poor performing employees. Paul, break it down. Break it down.
Clay, can you imagine having a professional football team? You like one team in particular.
Oh, the Patriots.
Yeah, those guys. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Josh Gordon, stay sober, Josh. I pray for you. Stay sober, man.
Can you imagine if their quarterback was underperforming and they had another guy on the sidelines that could do 1,000 times better, but they just felt bad. They felt bad for not taking that quarterback's job.
Real quick, I have audio of what the Cleveland Browns were saying. This is what their coaches said last year. Remember the Browns, previous to Baker Mayfield's taking the field, these guys hadn't won in like 16 games. And this is what the head coaching staff of the Cleveland Browns apparently said to each other when they realized that their quarterback was underperforming for 3 consecutive years. This is what the coaching staff said. They all got together and they said, our quarterbacks are underperforming, and this is what they said.
You know what they say? See a broad to get that booty yak 'em. Leg her down or smack 'em, yak 'em.
And no one knows what that means.
No.
They just let these guys play.
Hey, Clay, and along those lines, Baker Mayfield came in and did a really good job.
That's
and I'm
right.
not a Sooner fan, but I am a Baker Mayfield fan. He's
yeah.
a warrior.
He is.
He could play any position on the field, but you know what the coaching staff said? We're not sure if he's going to start next week.
I tell you what, the Cleveland Browns, those guys, one, they have a dumb team name. Browns.
What's Browns?
Why don't you just change the team name to the Puke Greens? The Cleveland Puke Greens.
Greens.
These guys, I mean, Belichick went there to coach, and he had to get out of there. He had to quit because he's like, this team is crazy. Like, the ownership wouldn't let him make the changes. They wouldn't let him fire people. A lot of people don't understand that Bill Belichick is the general manager for the Patriots and the coach. So he chooses the players he wants, and he coaches the players. And if you can't have decision-making powers over the players you have, Jason, you manage Elephant in the Room. We have a great staff at the Elephant in the Room Men's Grooming Lounge.
Absolutely.
But you and I have talked in the past, and it's been like, hey, Clay, this person needs to go. What are some telltale signs that someone needs to go?
Lateness for one.
Yeah, you just can't build on a culture of lateness.
Attitude and arguing with either management or the coworkers. That's a huge no. Just general negativity. Bring
Drama everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Did you see the way he looked at me? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Ah! Okay, now, I want to ask you this, Andrew.
Yep.
You've done wedding photography for me back in the day with one of our companies called Epic Photos.
Uh-huh.
What kind of people needed to be fired? What kind of people? Don't list their names like you normally do, Andrew.
Right. The kind of people who are late, especially like Jason said, that's one of the biggest things. When you're late to a wedding and don't photograph it, that's a pretty serious offense. 2 would be people who constantly make mistakes like lose cards or don't get photos that were specifically specified.
Tell us the story about the Danger Man.
Oh, yeah. So on the first wedding that I shadowed, the lead photographer decided it would be a good idea to get the ring shot. The
story's not going to go well.
Uh-oh. It's not. The shot of the photo of the rings, but he decided to put it on a tree that was over a ledge.
It being what?
It being the bride's ring with a huge diamond on it, and the groom's ring.
On a tree?
On a tree, but it was over a ledge that he had to reach over, put the rings on the branch, and below was like probably 2 feet of water. And he decided that's where he wanted to take the ring shot, so he had to lean over the stairs, over the ledge to the tree to get the photo. And if it fell, there was no getting the rings back.
This is the same man who at the Summit Club leans over the railing to get a shot around the railing. I'm not kidding, with 60% of his body weight leaning over the 31st floor balcony.
Oh, yeah.
His feet are like talons gripping on, wrapped around the railing. And if the railing gave out or his feet gave out, he's dead.
Oh, yeah.
That guy had to be fired.
He also liked Netflix at work.
Oh, yeah, he loved to watch. No kidding. This guy watched Game of Thrones sex scenes
There it is.
while at work. And when I told him you can't watch Netflix and sex scenes, he said, okay. So then he started watching it, just not the sex scenes. And I'm like, no. So you got to fire people. That's a cash flow killer. And we come back from the break. I will tell you about cash flow killers 3, 4, 5, and 6. Paul Hood, you're giving a free copy of Warren Buffett's book, Snowball, away to each and every listener if they schedule a 1-hour consultation with you at hoodcpas.com. The consultation's free. The book is free. Why are you giving away this incredible book?
Well, I believe that my role in life is to invest in other people, and sometimes you have to teach them that they're worth investing in, and they just don't know. And so I'm willing to invest my time as well as I pay these people, my staff people, Clay. They cost me money to sit and visit with people that come to my office for that hour for free. I'm willing to invest in them if they're willing to invest in themselves.
Go to hoodcpas.com today and schedule your consultation. Once again, that's hoodcpas.com. Stay tuned.
Attend the world's best business workshop led by America's #1 business coach for free by subscribing on iTunes and leaving us an objective review. Claim your tickets by emailing us proof that you did it and your contact information to info@thrivetimeshow.com.
Cash flow killers. You've got to avoid these cash flow killers. There are 6 of them that I want to focus on today. 6 cash flow killers. Cash flow killer number 1, failing to collect from customers. If you are a baseball coach or a basketball coach or a doctor or a dentist, it's so easy to say, hey, don't worry about it, bring a check next week. And let me tell you what happens. They don't bring a check next week, and then the next week, and all of a sudden now they owe you for 2 months or double the service. Point is you're getting behind. Don't do it. Move number 2, cash flow killer number 2, failing to fire poor performing employees. They will eat your food literally if you have a restaurant. They will steal, they will lie, they will cause refunds. Just a disaster. Get poor performing employees off the field. Move 3, invoicing clients. Just do not invoice clients if possible. I want to give somebody an epiphany that can absolutely change your life. Paul, you don't have to invoice people, man. You can just give them a receipt.
Absolutely, Clay. You know, a lot of people that own a business, it's like they feel guilty getting paid. You're out there and you're showing up and you're putting in the time. Get paid, for goodness sake, and get paid now so that the money is in your pocket. Because, you know, people spend their money. They don't control. What you got to understand is the people that you're doing business with, or your customers, your clients, they're not very good at managing money. And so if you don't get paid now, you're probably not going to get paid. They're going to be paying somebody else that actually is proactive in getting paid.
I have 2 groups that I want to attack on the show. And if you are a member of this group and you are innocent, that's cool. I'm just going to tell you my example of the dangers of invoicing. Many years ago, I owned a company called DJConnection.com that still exists and thrives today. Check them out, DJConnection.com. I used to DJ for schools a lot and churches. Schools and churches. These are my 2 groups. Now, I love pastors. Pastor Brian Gibson, I would consider him to be my pastor. Great guy over there. His church is Victory Church in Amarillo, as well as River City Church over there in Owensboro, Kentucky. I like churches. I like pastors. I like most pastors. I like most churches. I like most teachers. But here's the deal. I was DJing for schools. In the schools, on the night of the prom, my terms were this. You pay a $150 deposit, and the remaining balance is not due until the day of the prom. Every single prom that did not pay me on the night of, either A, never paid me at all, or B, I had to chase them for 90 days. And I did not discover how horrible this was until I had a big team, and it was prom season, Paul. And we've got, 10 proms, 20 proms we're doing. At the peak, 40 proms in one day, bro. 40 proms. So we're talking about the average event maybe be $750. So we got $750 times 40. So we're talking $30,000 of cash flow coming in, and none of them paid. Yeah. And every single one of them say, "Oh, I'm gonna do it." And then I used to work with churches and pastors. This is my favorite line that I couldn't believe they would say. It was almost like a comedy that it's like a tragedy for me, but a comedy for you, the listener. They would say, "Well, I'm praying that God's going to really be able to provide to be able to take care of you." And I'm going, "You booked me and hired me, and then now you're praying that the money's going to come in? What? I mean, this is crazy." And Paul, you've seen this before. Businesses dying on the vine by invoicing. Please explain the profundity, the power, the intensity, the reason why we've got to stop invoicing contractors of America.
Well, Clay, the number one reason that businesses fail is they run out of money. And the reality is they may have a great product, they have a great service, they have, they're delivering, they're just not getting paid. And you have to realize you are entitled to get paid. You showed up. They contracted with you. It's an agreement, and that you need to get paid. You need to get paid soon. But the sad thing is if you're not proactive and you actually do not intentionally make sure you get paid, you're not going to get paid, and you're going to lose 30-40% of what you're supposed to get.
Now, we have 6 cash flow killers we're talking about today. I'm going to go through 4, 5, and 6 pretty quick so we have time to marinate on each one here. Cash flow killer number 4, casually tracking inventory. Paul, why can we not casually track our inventory?
Well, inventory is, if you're in a business that sells things, that is your bread and butter. And if you don't keep track of it very intently, guess what? Your poor employees are going to steal from you. Things are going to get lost. Things are going to get broken. And if you can't track that, those small leaks sink that ship. And so you have to control and count and check. That is the number one thing that people have a business based on inventory failed to do, besides not collecting.
We had a listener that heard us talk about cash flow killing last year, and they decided, you know what, I'm not going to track my inventory. And I said, okay, I guess that's the decision you can make. I didn't know them. They were just listening to the show. A lot of times we don't know who listens to the show. And they called in, and Andrew thought it was really it wasn't appropriate to let him through onto the show.
No.
So as our call screener, he was able to talk to them while you and I were just discussing there kind of offline. And this is the audio recording of what this listener said. It's kind of advice that he would give to you, the listener, today, because he went a year without implementing these moves. And he said this is what's going to happen if you don't implement these 6 cash flow killing kind of anecdotes. If you don't implement the things you're learning today to avoid cash flow killing, this is what's going to happen to you.
Now you kids are probably saying to yourselves, hey, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get the world by the tail and wrap it around and pull it down and put it in my pocket. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're probably going to find out as you go out there that you're not going to amount to jack squat.
That's what's going to happen if you do not implement these moves to thwart the cash flow killing. And cash flow killing, by the way, happens by default. If you're not intentional, this will happen to you for sure. This will happen by default. By entropy, you will just drift into this abyss. It's going to happen to you. Move number 5, cash flow killer number 5 here on the NPR edition of Look Under the Hood with Paul Hood, CPAs. Casually tracking your expenses. Paul, that's dangerous, man.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. And Clay, I'm reading a book right now that you recommended, Outwitting the Devil.
Oh, it's so good.
By Napoleon Hill.
Yes.
And Sharon Lecter.
Sharon Lecter.
Yeah, great.
Lecter? This is a question.
Yeah. Whatever. But anyway, it's the premise of this book is drifting. It's not being deliberate, not being intentional, drifting in life. And his premise is that's sin. And, in a business, if you're drifting, if you're not intentionally tracking every single dollar, you are, basically, in my opinion, sinning against your business, against your family. You've got to track it.
Didn't that book start off weird, but isn't it good now?
It started off really weird and really strange. But, it's a unique look at things, but the premise is very, very strong and very true. And the thing is it was written back in the day and before a lot of things that are going on today that seems like he's writing about today. So it's great. But the bottom line is you have to track your dollars, money in, money out. You've got to know who owes. You've got to know when you're going to get paid and what you're going to pay. And it's the old adage that small leaks sink ships. And that's one of the things we do over at Hood CPAs is track where that money's going.
Okay, now move number 6, cash flow killer number 6, you want to be aware of. It's casually tracking the accounts payable. In some businesses, you have to invoice people. And if people owe you money, you have to know who they are because eventually the statute of limitations, okay? Not the statute, but the statute of limitations. What will happen is, Paul, you'll have money that's owed to you. And if you haven't collected beyond a certain point, you can't collect it. I mean, you can't call somebody 4 years from now, right, Paul, or 5 years. What's the limit typically? Like let's say I'm a dentist and I don't get paid from you because I didn't invoice you, how long before it's no longer collectible?
Well, I don't know about the statute of limitations, but I do know this, that if you don't collect within 90 days, you've got probably less than a 15% chance of getting your money. And the same thing applies on money that you owe, like accounts payable. When you owe other people, if you don't track that, a lot of times when you're paying, when you owe them money, you can get discounts. And discounts are real money in your pocket. And so if you don't take advantage of those discounts, or if you delay paying and you end up paying a penalty, or you pay interest, that's just wasted money. And really, you probably have the money. You're just drifting, like we were talking about. You're not staying on top of what you owe and taking care of and taking advantage of these discounts.
Jason, I'm going to need you to be my echo track for these next notable quotables. I have 3 notable quotables from John D. Rockefeller, a guy who grew up crazy poor, who started working at the age of 16 to support his family because his dad abandoned the family and became the world's wealthiest man. So I'm going to read the notable quotable. If you could supply some echo track, that'd be great here. So let me get it ready here. Okay, let me hit my epic music. Let me stretch here. Don't want to mail this one in here. Here we go. Okay. Every right implies a responsibility. I need a little more like... Every opportunity, an obligation. Every possession, a duty. Andrew, maybe you could help out here. Jason needs a little bit of coaching here. A friendship founded on business is better. Jason, you can't mail that in. You got to keep going.
Gotcha.
A friendship founded on business is better than a business founded on friendship. How can a guy with so much rhythm not provide a better echo track? What in the world?
I'm sorry.
Do not many of us who fail to achieve big things fail because we lack concentration? The art of concentrating on the mind, on the thing to be done at the proper time, and to the exclusion of everything else. This echo track was sadly provided by Jason.
You're welcome.
No, it's the first time I've ever asked him to do. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
That was
there.
good. Good job, Jason.
Go to hoodcpas.com. Go to hoodcpas.com, schedule your 1-hour consultation, and get your free copy of Warren Buffett's book, Snowball. Get it today at hoodcpas.com. Have a great day.